We're ready to go.
Okay. We've all had a piece of equipment that's determined to kill us. This has been mine. So far we've replaced the carburetor, gone through all the lines, put a new spark plug in it, put a new fuel filter in it, a new fuel line. Still nothing. Seems to show a spark, but I'm thinking it's not enough spark. We're going to go ahead and replace the coil pack on it. And for practical purposes, this will be a new machine. It does kick. It kicks just a little bit if you put starter fluid in it. So it tells me the motor's running. I got to look inside the engine, and the cylinder wall looks beautiful. Wouldn't expect any smoke or anything out of her. And lucky enough, I've got a brand new coil pack for this sitting here, so let's give it a try. Of course, when any of us hit one of these like this that just keeps fighting back, you reach a point quickly where you're not going to give up. Okay, let's go ahead and pull the coil pack on, throw the new one on. It's entirely possible that over time, this thing's overheated one too many times, and it's just tired. And that could be the extra octane that gets in the starter fluid, lets it kick. And there we go. I don't mind doing this. It's a pretty easy job, and the spark plug's already, spark plug wire looks a little bit burnt up here anyway. That all looks okay. Let's grab our new coil pack and make sure she fits before we go any farther. Yeah, it looks like we've got a good match here. Okay, buddy, out you go. Let's grab some pliers. We don't want to tear the wire up accidentally. Tell you, when I got this, all I could think was, wow, that's a pretty good deal. And this machine has done its best to talk me out of that thought ever since. But since the cylinder wall looks really good, whoever gets it's definitely getting a bargain. It'll be a bargain for me to get it out of my garage. There you go. Now that fits nice and snug. So we'll lay that there. Now what we're going to do is put a piece of paper in here, a thick piece of paper, maybe a couple layers thick, and that'll get our spacing right in here. It's pretty easy to tell when you've got it wrong because it drags. So we'll put that in semi-loose. Go ahead and put this one in semi-loose. Okay. I don't like that at all. You can see this end's a little too far away. There we go. Now we'll tighten her in, and she should come in really nice. Rotate over. And that's just as close as you can get and still say you missed. So that's a beautiful thing. Now we'll get our little insulator sleeve in the right place. And get her back together and see what we've got. Pull the wire down just a little bit. We don't want that much slack at the top. Maybe we do actually. Nope, I didn't think so. Let's take her down just a little bit. There we go. That looks nice. And that should make the covers fit just about perfect. Okay, that takes care of that. Let's put our winder back on. Let's get you back in your little spot. Telling you, this chainsaw has been a week of Mondays for me. Okay, we want you on the outside here. See, that fits in that little hole there and then slides around here once it's in, and we'll groove in there. Perfect. Now everything looks nice and tight. So let's get her back together and see what we've got. Now remember, when you're doing these, never tighten one screw all, whoop, you're the top one. Never tighten one screw all the way in until you get all of them started, because occasionally you can get the holes off center when you're tightening them, and then that last screw won't go in. And you don't want to inadvertently cross thread it trying to mash it in. Okay, that's that. Let's have a good look, make sure we're happy with everything. Okay, we're pretty happy with everything. It would be nice if this was just a bad coil. God knows this thing's tested me to no end all the way. Oh, there we go. And there we go. Okay, we look to be nice and tight. Let's tighten her up. Run a little gas through her and see what we've got. Love that super strong compression. Okay, now we've got a new coil, new carburetor. Hell, new fuel line, new everything. This thing should run like a charm. And that chainsaw was determined to kill me. But because it's such a good looking piece of equipment and the cylinder looks so good and everything about it looked almost brand new, wasn't going to give up. It needed a combination of new fuel lines and a new coil, and we replaced the carburetor because the diaphragms didn't look so good and the baffles were just a little bit warped. And I can't quite explain how the cylinder could look that good and how the body could look that good and have those parts sit. I have a feeling this thing was probably used a few times and then it just got put in a garage somewhere in a corner and just sat there. It's entirely possible the coil went soft and they gave up on it because it probably wouldn't run when it was hot. If your coil starts getting old, then it won't run quite as well at idle, but when you rev it up and after you run for a few minutes, it'll die completely. And it'll only die when it's hot, and it'll seem to cool off and run well again for a minute. That was probably this one's life before, but now that it's got a new coil in it, and a new plug, and new carburetor, she's ready to go. She's ready for a whole new life. Got wood.